This was the second worst loss of Bill Belichick's career. After last week's thumping of 38-3, they lose 34-0. As we've seen the numbers, the Patriots are losing 72-3 in their last two games, and two of Bill Belichick's four worst career losses have come within the last 14 days, or within the last 2 weeks of the NFL season. Excuse me, trying to get too technical. They're 1-4. That's their worst start in 23 years, when he started 1-4 on the way to a 5-11 finish the first year that Bill Belichick was with the team. The Patriots this year in last in points per game at 11. Remember, the Bengals were at 12. They're last in EPA per play, last in EPA per dropback, last in EPA per rush, 26 in yards per game, 28th in yards per play. They're tied for second to last in turnovers. They're probably they're probably dead last in the league in turnovers now, because they were tied with the Raiders, who just made Jordan Love throw 3 interceptions. So they are dead last in the NFL in turnovers. EPA per dropback, EPA per rush, EPA per play, points per game. And they went 1 for 14 on third down. The Patriots have not forced a turnover since week 2 of the NFL season. New England was tied for the second best defense in terms of turnovers last year with 30. The New England Patriots had 30 takeaways as a defense last year, and they're dead last in the NFL this year. Now, I understand Christian Gonzalez went out. I understand they've had some injuries. I get that. When you lose good players, that's going to affect you. But this is not a Bill Belichick-led defense that we've seen time and time and time again, especially after the last 2 weeks. I think it's time for the Patriots to make a decision on Mac Jones as well. It is 100% Mac Jones decision time up in Foxborough, out there in New England. Mac Jones has 6 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. His third interception in the last 2 weeks, 2 of those being pick sixes. One for the Honey Badger, my boy Tyrann Mathieu, looking so great out there in a white and black uniform. Mac Jones has had the instances of being a dirty player. But more than anything, I was never high on Mac Jones coming out of college. I mean, yeah, he was a good Alabama quarterback. I didn't think he was better than Tua. I didn't think he was better than Jalen Hurts. I didn't even think he was better than Bryce Young. And that's not a knock on Mac, because he, at least we'd like to think, is in the mix of those Alabama quarterbacks that Nick Saban has been churning out lately. He goes 10-7 in his first year. He gets the doors blown off of him by the Buffalo Bills. Really no surprise there. But he led the Patriots to the playoffs in his first year, starting rookie quarterback. They cut Cam Newton right before the year. So he had some pressure on him. Now, I will say the roster looks worse. Of course, the offensive weapons are not there. Were they ever there? Not really. They're kind of overpaying for Juju Smith-Schuster. They bring in 2 tight ends a couple of years ago. What's going on with that? So I'm not going to sit here and completely crap on Mac Jones, because I do think he's getting a slight Justin Fields treatment in terms of just outdated coaching. I think Bill is a great coach, but I think it's time to admit that the game has passed him by, at least offensively. I heard a great take from great take from Stephen A. Smith, actually. Let me just go ahead and give credit where credit's due. Stephen A. said, if the Patriots realistically want to fix things, they got to walk right up to Bill Belichick and say, hey, you can be head coach for the rest of the year, but you're not being a general manager. You're not doing it. Because the way that the Patriots do and don't draft, and the players they will cut to go sign free agents, Bill's cheap. He'll pay his kickers, who's 4 for 8 on the year, and blaming it on the scoreboard in the stadium. But I think we have to be realistic, really back in. I think we have to be realistic with the fact that Bill Belichick's time has passed him. We're kind of starting to have the same conversations about Mike Tomlin as well, because when you just can't get more than a 500 year, when you can't hold it down in the playoffs when you get there, yes, he got them to Super Bowls. Yes, he won them Super Bowls. But when you talk about when the NFL really went to an offensive league around, I don't know, I feel like 20, maybe 15, 16, just mentally when I think about it, was the year that the NFL just really took a step up in offense, The year that Matt Ryan won MVP is kind of what I'm recalling here. The Steelers and the Patriots have not been there consistently to be able to compete with the top teams in the league, or not compete with the top teams in the league, because we both know that they've been competitive since, and the Patriots have had Super Bowls. But offensively, and especially ever since Brady left, Bill Belichick is a sub-500 coach. Bill Belichick, in the last 10 years, has drafted 2 All-Pros. One was a punter, one was a punt returner. Well, you're in the AFC East. You're in the AFC. You're in the most loaded conference in the NFL. You've got the Jets. You've got the Bills. You've got the Dolphins. That could get real ugly next year real fast. Now, coming into the year, I had the Patriots winning 5 football games. I had them as a 5-12 team. Their roster is outmatched like by almost everybody in the league. They really might have the worst roster in the NFL. Straight up. I get it. JC Jackson came back. They've got a Christian Gonzalez. They've got some players, but this might be the worst roster in the NFL, realistically. It's time to make a decision on Mac Jones. It's time to start talking about Bill Belichick's successor in the head coaching position. Robert Kraft's going to have to look inward. And the Patriots have some rebuilding to do. I think it's about time that they tear it down to the studs. Now, credit the NFL Mike. He was saying on TikTok that what if the Patriots had an evil plan to just tank for Caleb Williams and then let Bill Belichick get a hold of Caleb? I would argue that's not good because Bill is not an offensive-minded head coach. He's not. 11 points per game for arguably the greatest coach in NFL history. Pats fans, y'all get in the chat. Let me know what you think about Bill Belichick, about Mac Jones. Who's the next head coach for you? What type of decisions do the Patriots have to make to get them moving forward and back to the team that we know they can be?